She stands for justice, justice for crimes that were committed during the Liberian 14-year civil war, a war that she too could have been victims of had she not fled. So we do this because we believe in it with our hearts and soul. We know that it comes with sacrifices, risk involved. But like Barack Obama said, change starts from you or with you. That the change will not come if you don't demand it. So this is why we say that for too long our people have died and nothing has come out of it. It is time that we change those practices that have brought about the death and destruction of our country, of our people, and those responsible. We are demanding accountability, because in doing so, it creates a deterrent to make sure that never in our history should Liberians kill each other to promote selfish ambition. For the generation to come into a better world, to know that people will not abuse them, violate their rights, and nothing come out of it. So that's the advocacy for justice, to make sure that what took place during 14 years war would never again be repeated in our history, to reach out to the victims who were abused, whose rights were violated, and today they are sitting, they are put on the side, neglected, deprived. We are reaching out to them to say we feel your pain. We were not there, but we understand, and we saw the horrific images of war, many nights where we cried, and we just want to give back to our country and make sure it's a better place for everybody.
Okay. And you've traveled around the United States of America conducting these workshop or human rights empowerment seminars or sessions. Specifically in Minnesota today, what will you be doing?
Well, in Minnesota, we said this is a historic and symbolic place to have our first outreach, because we have visited Minnesota, but not Minnesota, but Philadelphia. We're here in Minnesota because we know it has large percentage of Liberians, many of whom fled the Civil War, and we're also before the TRC Commissioner to share their testimony. So we are here to reach out to them. We are also here with other personalities, such as the U.S. Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. We have other international human rights groups, such as the Center for Justice and Accountability. These are people that want to work with Liberians, but it is Liberians themselves that have to champion this cause. They have to lead the way. If they really want justice for the death of 250,000 Liberians, they have to let the world know that they want justice. If they are quiet, fearful, complacent about the issues, then the world would not take this lead or take action. So this is why we are reaching out to our people to say you cannot be afraid. We understand it will come with the warlords retaliating against us. Many of them have made threats against not being held, not wanting to be held accountable. Instead, they preach messages of reconciliation. Well, how do you reconcile with a man who don't even have food to eat, who is dying, who don't have water to drink, who, suffering? We say these are just messages that is really not bringing about the kind of peace in our country that we want. And in order for peace to sustain, justice has to prevail. And these people must answer to the law, that they are not above the law. So we are demanding justice, and we want all Liberians and those living in Minnesota to see reason that this is a genuine cause for peace in our country and other parts of Liberia.
Okay. So just before I leave, it's a very short interview. We should have Lovetta on the Africa Rendezvous TV show tonight. So this is a precursor as well, just to give a helping hand to our activities. Some people who might be confused right now and say, okay, I was in Lofa County, my mom was in Lofa County, the rebels came to burn her house. How do I benefit from the work that you do? That was 15 years ago. My mom was in Lofa County in a little village called Kailatahon. Rebels came, she had 3 houses, they burned her 3 houses. What can your organization do to help her?
Well, we said this organization it's for the Liberian people. It is not what the organization can do, it's what can we do as Liberians to reach out to those people who have been affected by war. Issues that affected them, what can we do to reach out to them, to help them to bring about some relief? We're not just advocating for accountability, because we know it's not going to happen overnight. We know the people who were in that war are suffering, They need, some of them still live with bullets in their bodies. Some of them are still, suffering from the rapes, women that were gang raped, and they have, attracted all kinds of diseases from these incidents. What can we do to reach out to these people? So we are trying to say we will put together some kind of a program to reach out to these people. Homes that were destroyed, what can we do to help people rebuild their homes and rebuild their lives?
What can you do, though? I mean, if somebody's out there saying, look, why do I come to your session? I mean, what is the bit, what is the carrot that you're throwing out there? So, what's like, hey, if your house was burned and we do this and we are successful, we might rebuild your house. Is that something?
Well, the central message, again, like I said, it is about justice for what happened in the country. Justice for war crimes. Homes that were destroyed, it can be rebuilt, but it cannot replace the lives that were destroyed.
Okay, so the accountability you want now. Let's, like, if the example I just gave, a real life situation where, a soldier, burned the guy's house. How does this person is a victim by definition, of the fact that, he lost his house. Now, what does he benefit? A rebel leader might come and say, we are sorry for what we did. How does it benefit this guy who is saying, look, my mom's house was burned, my mom is homeless right now, and no amount of sorry is going to create anything that will make her happy? Well,
we said the homes versus the human lives. We are talking about 250,000 Liberians that died. Nothing has that. Those lives cannot be. You cannot bring back those people. You cannot replace those people.
Okay, so all you want is an apology?
The apology cannot bring back the lives of the people. We are asking for justice for the lives that were taken away from us.
So what kind prematurely? What kind of justice do you want?
Accountability.
Okay, and
making sure that
imprisonment, they have been imprisoned.
Exactly. So that in the future, such actions would never occur on our soil.
Okay, so the little boy that did burning of the house, who you gonna hold him accountable, or you gonna hold his boss accountable?
We understand that there are several victims. Victims are people who were abused during the war. Victim can also say, "Oh, I'm a victim too because I joined the war and I did so." But we say, with the rule of law, such as the court system, they too can go before the law and exonerate themselves. Okay. But we cannot say let bygone be bygone.
So what kind of court system are we talking about? Is it special?
We have legal court system. We have the war crime court. We advocate for that to be established in our country, and through that, war laws can go before the system and answer to the law. It is the law that will exonerate them.
So the war crime court have to be created first.
Well, in Liberia, we say yes.
Okay.
But also there are other measures, alternative. The war laws, not all of them in Liberia. Some of them are in our very own community. Okay. So we also have people that willing to work with people who are ready to take
hold
legal
those people
action.
Accountable outside of Liberia.
Exactly.
Okay. But the truth of the matter is that a bulk of the people are still in Liberia. And to have a war crimes tribunal in Liberia means the government will be in support of that, right?
We will work with leadership those in the government. Our goal is to reach out to them because we know it is the right thing to do, even though some of them will feel that doing so they will be dragging themselves. But again, Liberia is bigger than individual.
Okay, so if they refuse, there will not be a war crimes court until they are out of the way. Is that what we're seeing here?
Well, like I said, it is up to the people. That's why we are reaching out to the people that we say your voices must be heard because the issues of justice, the people need to hear your voice. Your leader, you elect your leaders, and they are there to work in the interest of their constituents.
If they are not working and the people are fearful to even come forward to say, hey, we are victims, nothing is going to happen. Is that what I'm seeing here?
That's why we say it's not going. What we are doing, this coalition, is not going to take overnight. It will be a gradual process. But the message that we are putting out there, the awareness to empower our people, so that they can have their own voices, so they can be their own voices, so they can be heard, so they can demand accountability, so they cannot be in fear to say because the war laws themselves have threatened. If you hold me accountable, we're going back to the bushes. We have heard those numerous times in the media, but we are saying that they need to stand up, no matter the risk. If Lovetta Tugbeh can stand up and demand justice for the death of 250,000 brothers and sisters, what more than you who are victimized, who they strip your mothers, your fathers away from you to come forth and speak up. So some of us are in power. We're reaching out to these people so that they too will be in power to find their voices in the global community discussing these issues of justice.
Okay, so success will not be achieved until the people themselves who are victims actually stand up for their rights.
That's right.
So all Lovetta Tugbeh and the Coalition for Justice is to trailblaze, to empower you. Lovetta is not going to do it all for you. If you don't say I am, nobody's going to say thou art. So that's the first law of nature. You got to stand up, demand your rights, demand for accountability, demand that impunity comes to an end. If you don't do that, so be it. Lovetta has played her role. The CJL has played a role. History, when it is written indelibly in the annals of history, will record that she left her opulence, left the sanity and the comfort of an American home, and put her life on the line to advocate for you, and you sat there, you did nothing. If God is helping you, you got to help yourself. If somebody is watching your back, you got to watch your front. That is a simple message. So come out, watch out for our various news broadcasts and our announcements as we try to engage and support the activities of the Coalition for Justice in Liberia. It is a very short interview. And I want to say thanks ever so much. Any final word for our listeners out there?
Well, I want to say thank you so much, and I'm glad you brought me back to your show. And again, the Lovetta Tugbeh is real, the coalition is real, but what I want the people to know or remember is not Lovetta Tugbeh, but the message that she's promoting, and that is justice, for justice to prevail in Liberia for what took place during the 14 Years War. I may not be here when that happened, but at least when we leave from here, people should remember there were people who cares about what happened in our country, to be bold enough to come forth to speak on this issue of justice, and for others to see reason to join us and to make sure that Liberia is a better place for everybody.